You got a guy like Paul Ellering that's been around for as long as he has with the knowledge he has, and then you bring him in and do nothing with him. I don't understand.
As we sit in the lounge tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have Professor Ethan sitting there. Professor Ethan Carter III sitting with his book, getting ready for the next lesson. We have the guy, we have the writer, we have the man, Mr. Attitude Era himself, Vince Russo. Both of them are former world champions, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Try hear me say that without cracking a smile, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? You can't teach that.
No, you can't.
Yes, indeed. Gentlemen, how are you tonight?
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, doctor.
I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Madcap Beard Care. So,
yeah, I got that, bro. I got that.
Yeah, I think I have one of yours, like your face on one of these. Like, I don't have enough beard to have all this beard oil the guy sent me, but it is good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Like, supports
the boys. It smells good
wow.
too, man. Yeah.
Very nice. Wonderful.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hanging out with wrestlers, they're the worst.
Yes, indeed. You said what? Say what again?
So why would he hang around wrestlers? They're the worst.
Wrestlers are the worst. Wow. Well, speaking of wrestlers, we have unfortunately a slew of pro wrestling releases that just happened in the WWE. Let's go through each of them and see where they go. They basically will go. I'll say a name. We'll talk about personal relationships that you have with them, EC3. Okay. And then we'll also go with where do you see their future? And I'll have Vince jump in with that. So let's start off with pretty precious Paul Ellering. He was released, unfortunately, came back with the Final Testament, came back with AoP. But when I heard AoP wanted him to come back when they got rehired back to the WWE, and that he did, left, had an injury angle, and he assisted the Final Testament after weeks of build with the Final Testament. He assisted the Final Testament with defeating the Wyatt Six. So all of that build up for the Wyatt Six just to lose to the Final Testament. Now there'll be zero payoff because 3 members of the Final Testament are gone. So of course that doesn't help the Wyatt Six. EC3, let's start off with did you ever have any relationship with Paul Ellering during your time in NXT? Or
just a couple happenstance runs into backstage. I never really got the opportunity to get in his head, pick the brain at all. I mean, he was always cordial, kind, has a history in the industry, but don't have a real deep personal connection. And I mean, he came and went when they went the first time too, right?
Yes.
So maybe he shouldn't have backed AoP again. I don't know. But he was always cool. And, old men with shaved heads and goatees they look tough. So.
Yeah, wonderful.
I got nothing.
Vince, what say ye about Paul Ellering's tenure, man?
Well, I did work with him at WWE. He was a very, very smart guy, man. Very, very smart guy. But again, Chris, it's like I don't understand why they would bring him in if they were never going to do anything with him. I mean, he did nothing. He literally just stood there and did absolutely nothing, which I don't understand whatsoever. No. I mean, you got a guy like Paul Ellering that's been around for as long as he has with the knowledge he has, and then you bring him in and do nothing with him. I don't understand.
Hey, Vince, when you mentioned he was smart, was it like savvy with the business smart?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That's what I've heard too, and I never really got to see anything come to fruition. Even when he was on TV, I don't know. He was like a window dressing.
Yeah, it just never made any sense. It never made any sense.
There was never any like banger fire promos. There was never any like heat causing incidents. He was just kind of there, and that sucks if he's smart and good. Like a waste.
Indeed. Yeah. He never, even with this AOP time in NXT, I mean, he helped AOP become more notable when he was in NXT because of his namesake. That helped. But going into the main roster didn't really do anything. He never really did. He never really cut a promo. And Ellering was an amazing promo cutter when he was with the Road Warriors. And the Legion of Doom. Yeah, and it's like, why not put him on the mic when you had? I know they would do some backstage stuff and some vignettes and stuff like that. Yeah, but they wouldn't do much. Yeah. So, well, he's 70, early 70s now. So I'm sure that he's pretty set. Why do you think they kept him as some type of agent or some type of office job in the WWE? Wouldn't that make sense for someone his level of expertise?
I mean, unless they just didn't have a spot,
Yeah,
what do you think he's?
I don't know. Maybe this is a thing with like the talent being released. He'll be released as a talent, but there's opportunities in a backstage role. I think anytime you can get a well-versed, I don't want to say old-timer, but an old-school perspective that you can work with and modernize into today's climate, you're going to get the best of both worlds. So if Vince says he's smart, I think he's smart too. And I think he's a lot to offer.
Chris, how did you know he was 72, like off the top of your head? How'd you know that?
Doctor.
Putting the math together.
Yeah, right on the nose. That's what I just looked up. Right on the nose, 72.
LOD, I mean, he was well established because he was wrestling before he started managing the Road Warriors back in the late 80s, mid 80s. They were in the Legion of Doom back in Georgia Championship Wrestling days. That was, back in the mid 80s. So,
Road Warriors.
What's that?
The Road Warriors, like awesome.
Yeah. Remember, the Legion of Doom was actually a faction. It was Jake Roberts, King Kong Bundy, the Road Warriors, and Paul Ellering. Yeah, that's when they were.
Imagine running into that crew at a bar.
Yeah, and they had like biker. They were dressed as like biker guys more before they'd start doing the Road Warriors. I mean, that was the whole point of the Road Warriors. They were like bikers, like motorcycle guys, the Road Warriors, and then they changed it into some type of really cool, look
sort of
from
mad
that.
backseat.
Yeah. Yep. My all-time favorite tag. Did you know that, Vince? The Road Warriors were my all-time favorite tag team.
I did not know.
They are my all-time favorite tag. What's your all-time favorite tag team, Vince?
Valiants.
The Valiants. How about you, EC3?
Billy and Chuck.
Very nice. You look so good. You got to add Rico in there, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, you said my favorite tag team. I didn't say don't leave Rico.
I mean, the Freebirds is a tag team. Freebird rule, man.
Spin kicks. He's throwing the spin kick. He's got the Dick Tight shirt on, like he's puffing the air.
Yeah, Rico is the man. All right, let's go. Still is actually. Electra Lopez, EC3.
Well, just go to AOP. You might as well go to AOP right after Ellering, right, Chris?
Oh, sure. Yeah, the list doesn't have them next, but I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to AOP.
Guidelines, not rules. Yeah, I mean, I ran with them in NXT. They're real tough dudes. They're real cool dudes. I never got a grasp they loved wrestling. And even when they were released the first time, I don't think they did it much outside of it. Short of maybe some international things that just paid well. But
didn't they have their own promotion for a second and try to make it a thing?
There was something cooking out there in I don't remember what country it was.
And then they like promote Nia Jax, and then Nia Jax said that she was never part of this promotion.
I feel like it was like Qatar, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it was in Qatar. Yeah.
So there's probably all sorts of, blood money being funneled all around. I don't know. They're cool dudes, but, I never thought, I guess they didn't have that Road Warrior catch on. And I don't know what it was. I think when they got big in NXT, like they were working with guys who loved it so much that they'd bring the best out of them. But sometimes, you got to find it within yourself. If you don't love it, then it's a job. And if it's a job, sometimes you're not passionate. I'm not saying they're not, but I can see how they can come across.
Yeah.
They're tough as hell, though. Like, legitimately will beat your ass.
Aren't both of them like shoot style, like MMA fighters? They have MMA training? Yeah. Vince, why do you think they what went wrong with the booking of AoP to you?
Well, bro, see, I don't know anything because I'm not there. That's why I was curious to see what EC3 had to say. But I mean, I heard some rumblings that they were a little bit of a problem backstage.
Really?
That I heard some rumblings like that. So I don't know. Maybe it has to do with EC3 just said, you know how it is, man. If you don't love the business, like they frown upon you, like it can't just be a job. So I don't know if it was that, but I heard that there was a little heat on them backstage.
Heat how? Is it like they were stiff or?
No. Difficult to work with.
Yeah, and like what sucks if you come in from this not loving it. I'm not saying there's definitely room to grow, and you definitely you're there for a reason. So I always had issues when people are like, oh, he didn't pay his dues. Well, he didn't get trained in a crappy garage in an indie, taught everything wrong, and pretended just because he's wrestled for 10 years, he's a 10-year vet. Like, some guys pay dues in life in different ways. And so they come in, legitimate tough guys, legitimate high-end potential. I don't know where I was going with that. Short of okay, so if you don't understand this, there's no crash course through the system to kind of make you feel it or teach it. It's kind of, here are moves, here's this. And then this guy's over here saying, well, you guys are real big, so you got to protect your size. Oh, you're legitimate tough guys, so you got to protect that character. Protect it, this and that and this and that. To where when it comes full circle, main roster, when you're not taught how to interact in these situations, you can come off as being perceived as difficult because, well, so-and-so coach told me I shouldn't fall down, I shouldn't bump, I should protect this, and you want to kick out of that. So if you don't know how to articulate it too, there's a difference between, it's how you play the game, really. Articulation, inception, all sorts of ways to, I don't know, say your piece without saying, I don't want to take bumps, brother.
Did you just say it's how you play the game?
I did.
I agree, because it's all about the game and how you play it.
I had the book. Shout out Paul was at the confirmation hearing for Linda today.
We were just talking about that.
Popped up on my Instagram, and then I just being a libertarian, I just started going off in the comments. I'm like dumb wrestling puns and stuff like that. I had fun with it.
The heckling, I was talking to Vince and I said, it's interesting. I noticed in a nuance that Linda McMahon, when she was doing her introductions of the hearing, she said, this is my daughter, Stephanie, and her husband and my son, Shane. And I said, interesting. Like any other person would say, this is my son-in-law, Paul, because that's just a normal thing to say, but it makes me wonder if there's any type of tension there within Linda. I know Linda and Vince is, they've been a non-factor for a long time. I'm wondering how Linda's relationship with Paul, with Triple H is in all of this. So what do you think, EC3? I
think they get along swimmingly, and we're over analyzing. Maybe the vernacular wasn't correct in the sense, but her husband, my son-in-law, either way, he's the father of 3 of your grandchildren, and he's a pretty cool dude. So,
Vince, what do you think? Do you think there's something to it?
Chris, I don't think I know things I've never told you, so I will enlighten you in EC3 once the show is over. Things are not always what they seem, Dr. Chris.
Well, EC3, I think we might have a debunking green room episode that we're going to be talking about there soon.